Did you guys see what Trump said about DeSantis and Florida yesterday? Okay, Rob, if you can play that clip, I want to get your reaction on this video here. Go ahead.
For those of you that didn't notice, Florida was doing great long before Ron DeSantis got there. People are fleeing from New York to Florida and other places because of high taxes and out-of-control crime. It's really bad. Not because of the governor. Thank you, Mr. President, for doing that. But it's not because of the governor. Florida was doing fantastically. You had a governor named Rick Scott who did a very good job. Even Charlie Crist, a Democrat, did a good job, and he had very good numbers. Sunshine and ocean are very alluring. It's not too hard to work with those factors. So just remember, Florida was doing really well long before Ron DeSantis got there.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you first, Tom.
It's, you know, at a time where we need leadership to rise up versus the leadership we have in Washington, I've said it before, this is going to be a street fight. And this is a guy that understands media, that understands his base. And this is going to be a street fight. And this is just the beginning. That's what I think. Yeah, I've expected this.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Tom's right. This is expected. Look, Trump is who Trump is. He's not changing at this point. There's still people out there that think, well, you know, this time around it's going to be different. And Trump, keep doing what you do and don't change. Keep with the nicknames, keep with the name calling. It worked for you in 2016. It may work for you again in 2024. But watching that, I can only tell you what I felt. It is cringy and it's childish. Just the name calling. Now, as someone born and raised in Miami, I get it. The cat's out the bag. Florida's amazing. But to say that Ron DeSantis had nothing to do with how well Florida is doing currently and during COVID would be just disingenuous and inaccurate. DeSantis rose to the occasion, and like him or not, he kept, quote unquote, Florida free. And it's one of those situations where, yeah, Florida was doing just fine for years, and no income tax state, and sunshine and weather, but we do have issues here. We've had hurricanes, we have immigration issues, we've got all sorts of environmental issues that happen from time to time. But it's one of those things where, is what he did in 2016 going to work again in 2024? And I've been very clear, I don't think it's going to work this time around.
Yeah, so go ahead, Tom.
You can say Florida was doing well before, but to DeSantis' credit, he was the guy in the chair when there was some crisis, and he managed them very, very well. And I set COVID aside on the political side, and I just take a look how he reacted to the hurricane on the Gulf Coast. Mm-hmm. And I think he did an amazing job. He pushed people hard. He got that bridge to the island rebuilt. I mean, there's a lot of things that was just pure leadership of the crisis team, and he deserves credit for that.
Let me say just one more thing. You know, the whole Trump derangement syndrome, it's a real thing. I know people that, I mean, they would not vote for Trump if I'm like, who would you vote for, Stalin or Trump? They're like, sign me up for Joseph Stalin. They're not going to pick him. And I swear, I promise you on my life, I'm trying to give Trump a chance, genuinely, because we all know that I haven't been a Trump fan. I'm genuinely, let me just keep an open mind. Let me see if Trump can win me over. And I think the world has changed so dramatically pre-COVID to post-COVID. And Tom's absolutely right. We are in desperate need of leadership, of a grown-up in the White House. And I've said my number one goal in America right now is to get to a president who can get to a 60% approval rating. This race to somehow scrape out 50% is a race to nowhere. And if it's DeSantis, if it's Nikki Haley, if it's freaking Gavin Newsom, not a fan, whoever can get us there is who I'm leaning towards. And I think as of right now, If you look at the top 5 people in the polls right now, Trump, Biden's still up there, Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis gives America the best chance for some less divisiveness.
So this is all I think. I'm going to come from a place of strategy. I'm not going to come from any other place but just a place of strategy. Joe Rogan said the other day, if he has to choose between Trump and Biden, it's Trump. It's not even a question. Okay, so that's out there. You can go watch the clip, and people lost their minds when he was saying that. He's not choosing Biden over Trump. Okay, that position has changed with him over the last however many years. Is that the one? Okay, yeah, play that one so the audience can see it. Yeah, play that one. Just from there you go. Do you have the audio? Go for it. Press play.
And I go, I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden, just because I think with Biden, like he's gone. Like he's gone. You're going to be relying on his cabinet, and I knew his cabinet would be this fucking sideshow of diversity, and which is exactly what it is. I mean, that one person who stole all the women's clothes, that Sam Brinton, we highlighted on the podcast yesterday.
Right here. I mean, okay, so...
But just real quick note, that's someone who would vocally, loudly vote for Bernie Sanders in 2016. And I think he voted for Joe Jorgensen in 2020, which is absurd.
The GOAT, yes.
But now he's back on the Trump train. Not on the train, but he's willing to go there.
No, he's not on the Trump train.
Willing to... not on the train. You know what I mean? He's willing to vote...
But Biden is what he's saying, right?
Which is fun.
But let me go back to what Trump is saying. So, okay... All I ever think about, I got my sales leaders, okay? And if you've ever been to one of our sales leadership meetings, we have a meeting called the Directors and Up meeting or President's Club. You have to find a way to get in there. If you're in there, it's a spectacle. Let me put it to you this way. Anytime we had our investors or somebody that wanted to look at purchasing the company or we're talking about raising capital, that was a meeting they were not allowed to go into. Because if they went into that meeting, they're like, what the hell is going? You've been to one of those meetings before. You've been to a couple of them.
Insane. It's amazing.
They're insane. It's competitive.
Shout out to Ricky Aguilar out there.
It's insanity. It's like it's WWE, UFC minus any of the fights, but it's raw.
I wouldn't even say minus any of the fights because it can get pretty heated in there.
I'm trying to keep it PG-13.
It's WWE meets insurance.
Anyway,
you got people strutting down the aisle. Ric Flair coming through there.
WWE meets insurance.
Yeah. It's epic, right?
It's great.
It's epic.
And as someone who's been in the insurance industry for 17 years, it's mind-blowing.
You ever seen anything like that before?
Never in my life.
Okay, it's epic. It's competitive. It's awesome, right? Now here's the thing: if I'll sit there and I'll watch the call-outs. This person calls the other person out. That person calls this person out. It's call out.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit there and I say, yeah, that was not a good call out. Like, what angle did you take strategically? What did you just take with that angle? You went personal. Okay, that guy is going to destroy you with what you just did. Or this person, I'm like, that call out was weak. Your team, you looked weak in front of your team. The worst type of call outs are when you seem weak in front of your team. For example, a call out is you'll say, well, let me tell you something. You guys may be beating us on the leaders bulletin, but at least we love each other and we're united. You guys are not united. That is a weak ass call out, okay? Because you don't want to compete, and your way of hiding it is what? Be mommying your people that you're working with, right? Here's another one.
Unmeasurable.
When you do a call out and your team's like, oh my God, my leader's an asshole. Dude, what was that all about? You acted like an asshole, bro. You had an asshole moment. That's also not a good call-out. A call-out is to say, let me tell you, we fell because of me. I screwed up. At the end of the day, it's on me as the leader. But I'm going to tell you, I know what guys we got, and I know our guys are killers, competitors. The next 90 days, good luck outworking us, out-strategy. Good luck. We're going to compete like never before. And we're going to have one of the best stories of redemption. We're going to beat you, and you're going to have to eat your words for what you just said because our guy's going to rise up. That's a call-out where somebody's going to say, you know what? Let's go kick those guys' ass, right? This is a bitter call-out. You sound bitter. There's no strategy behind this to save Florida. All he has to do is to say 34,000 when you helped me, and I gave you a shout-out in the book, that your 2 tweets and the endorsement helped me. Yes, you're right. But I took it from 34 to 1.5 million votes. Not you. That's what I did, right? And nobody can dispute that. I won Miami-Dade. Nobody can dispute that argument there. Here's the other part. With Trump and DeSantis. If you read The Art of War, Sun Tzu, and you read any of the war books, there's like 5 of them must read. You have to read. If you're a businessman, if you're a businesswoman, if you're somebody that's in a competitive environment, you have to read these books. Because if you're not, they're reading it, just so you know. And I learned this the hard way. I'm like, okay, no problem. For 2 years, I had the same audiobook playing in my car on repeat, the same exact book. Every single day for 2 years, people would get in my car and my audio was that same. Like, this is all you listen to? I said, this is all I'm listening to.
What was the book?
It's a very good book. And I read it over and over and over again, 2 years straight in my car on repeat because I understood it was war. And I saw what my enemy was doing. I said, I'm not going to forget what you did for the rest of my life. This is no longer about money. Good luck seeing what you just gave birth to somebody you're going to face for the rest of your life. It was officially personal and was going to get fun. Let's go play ball. At first, it was just about dad retiring. At first, it was just about having dreams become a reality. You officially pissed me off. It's war now. Let's go play ball. And I'm going to have so much fun doing it for 50 freaking years. That was my mindset. I'll never forget this, by the way. Fully committed to war to this one handful of guys that in the marketplace that were going up saying certain things. What DeSantis is doing right now, the book Art of War, if your enemy is screwing up, get out of his way. And that's exactly what DeSantis is doing. He's not even getting in Trump's way. It's like, let him keep saying stuff. Let him keep saying this stuff. His own camp was going to turn against him. His own camp's going to turn against him. Because what Trump forgot to do is what helped him win is he talked policies. He talked about make America great again. He talked about the wall. He talked about issues that resonated with people. He talked about that. You can easily say Florida's done a great job with endorsement because our policies that I would have used myself, you can say that, and the American people will say, I agree with that. DeSantis used a lot of Trump's policies. Let's just say if the voter's going to say that's, but when you do something like this, it's showing you're bitter, it's showing insecurity, it's showing you fear somebody that's below you, you're competing with. You got to compete up. He's competing down. DeSantis, as of right now with the polls, is below you. He's not above you. So it's a different strategy on the way you compete when he was coming up as an underdog. The way you compete as an underdog can never be the way you compete as a favorite. I don't know if that makes sense or not. You cannot take the same strategy as an underdog to compete as a favorite. That's not going to work as a favorite. So, and right now, in what's the CPAC poll was what?
Yeah,
60 to 20. Yeah, it's
like
not even close. So, and some people say, who cares about CPAC? All I'm telling you is there's a different strategy to compete as a underdog versus a favorite. I don't necessarily know if this is an effective strategy he's using. Again, we may be wrong. I may be wrong, but I just don't think it's effective.
Can I ask you one very specific question? Because to me, it wasn't the calling out the Florida thing, and that's all fair game. My specific thing is the name calling. We all remember 2016. It was Lil Marco Rubio or
Sleepy
Low Energy
Joe.
Jet, or that was 2020 Sleepy Joe or Crooked Hillary, or everyone had a little nickname, and it was funny, it was weird, it was quirky, all that and above, right? Wacky Bernie, all that. The fact that he doesn't even call him Ron DeSantis, and it's just Ron DeSancta. Meatball Ron. Is Tom, for you as I would classify you as just like a level-headed, normal, just good father, family man. Does the name calling do anything for you? Is it a turnoff? You don't this is something you don't practice in real life. How do you deal with it when the president is doing this?
It does zero for me, and I have seen moments where I thought Trump played so beautifully. The debate with Hillary was being very sarcastic and then made a comment. And remember, he turned his back on her. And actually, she walked behind him. He didn't turn his back on her. He was not disrespectful. But as she rotated the stage, he turned around and pointed at her. And rather than call the name, he said, because you'd be in jail. Mm-hmm. And basically pulled the rug right out from under her thing. And that was all what America was thinking. We were all at home going, there you go. You're going to play the sarcasm game, and you're going to do that in a debate, Hillary. You just had an adult turn around and kind of call you out on that. That I appreciate. Because in the public square, in politics. You have to be prepared to debate, to set your tone, and you need to have your comeback. But just sitting there sounding bitter and calling a name doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't get me. It doesn't pull me in your direction to what I knew you stood for.
Yeah, listen, we can act very what's the word, noble and say, oh my God, dude, they've been calling this guy a Russian spy. They've called him a racist, a bigot, a misogynist. Give me one label this guy hasn't gotten the last 7 years. Think about every single day they've gone after this guy. So don't get it twisted. I don't like what he said about the comments on Florida and the fact that he didn't do anything. When you go give credit to Charlie, what are you doing? Like,
he's giving credit to Charlie Crist.
What are you
like? Biggest flip flopper as it gets.
Out of anybody you give credit to give it to Charlie, like, to me, it's purely that. When he says Ron DeSanctimonious, meatball, that's his game plan. It's totally fine, because the whole thing is, if your opponent gets irritated by a comment, keep irritating him, right? That's what he's doing. He's very good at it. He finds a way to irritate you, and he'll keep doing it. And if you show you're not irritated, then eventually he has to go to a different nickname or whatever. My concern isn't the name calling. My concern is you can't question someone's resume. That's a real resume. It's the same way when clowns say, Trump's not a real billionaire. Oh, okay, you are, right? Yeah, that's right. You were able to go into those, heavy-duty, rooms in New York and negotiate with all these other guys in Manhattan to buy air. Yeah, you're definitely a better businessman than Trump was. Yeah, you're the one that carried a show on NBC for 15 years called, what was the show's name? Called Apprentice, one of the greatest, and then Shark Tank tried to duplicate that model and the kind of eyeballs they got. Arnold tried to do it for a season. It flopped so bad it was embarrassing. Yeah. Some would say that kind of finished up his career, because you can't carry a show like that for 15 years. No, you can't be Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump is not duplicatable. He is very good at what he does. You can't question someone's resume if it's got true credibility behind it. You make yourself look like a fool. And here, he's trying to question DeSantis' resume. Who did it better? I don't know. I don't know if anybody did it better. He did it better.
DeSantis.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not even a question on who did it better. He did it better. And he, this is a chance to come from a place of, I'm glad he used my policies. I'm glad he implemented some of the things that we were doing. And I'm glad he had the success that he had because he followed our lead, versus showing signs of, I don't see, and by the way, in any business book or strategy book, I don't see everything he's done up until this point, like in 2016 when he won, everything was like, brilliant, interesting, wow, crazy, risky. Look at this guy. And boom, he's president. Holy shit, he pulled it off. And beating who? The person that's supposed to be a president since she was 10 years old, 12 years old. She was supposed to be the first female. You beat that heavyweight whose husband is a president? Damn. Okay, cool. This guy knows what he's doing. But the biggest feedback is your strategy as an underdog will not work as a favorite. It's just not. When Michael was coming up, when he wanted to beat the Lakers for the first time to get the first ring, and he was talking a lot of shit, yeah, that's a different game. When you're coming back and you lose to the Orlando Magic because of Nick Anderson, whatever, he passes away from Scottie Pippen and everybody's like he's lost it, when Michael was playing with the number 45, do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
When you're Michael coming back after a three-peat, everybody's coming for your throat. When you're Michael being beat by Detroit Pistons and they're bullying you, you're going for everyone's throat. You have a statement to make. Everybody else has a statement to make. I don't see the position here.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.